Hello and welcome to today's video blog. I am Andrea Barkley, personal trainer, private cook, writer, and founder of Moan Out Loud Protein Shakes. Today I'm so excited to introduce you to Miss Julia Nicholson. She is a holistic health coach, current NFL cheerleader for the Tennessee Titans, Bar 3 fitness instructor, wife, and mom. She's traveled all over the world during her 8 seasons of cheering. The one thing she always carries with her is her message that being thin and being healthy aren't always the same thing. She believes that every woman deserves to look and feel their best. Her passion is to help women move away from chronic dieting and toxic lifestyles to create long-term health, happiness, and success, which is such a fit for what we do here. So Julia, thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so exciting. So Julia and I met pretty randomly in San Diego at a marketing conference. We were introduced through two amazing influences in our life, Sean Croxton of Underground Wellness and Marie Forleo of B School. So we met kind of randomly, but I think we just connected because we have a similar vision. My message is all about helping people, men and women, to feel their fittest. And I know that you're in the business of doing the same. So Julie, would you mind sharing with the viewers a little bit about your background and your story and journey?
Yes, I feel like my journey kind of collides with being a professional cheerleader for the last spanning over a decade now, almost. I joke with the new girls that come in for tryouts. I say, because they're starting to calculate in their head how many years and how old I was when I started. I'm like, don't worry, I started when I was 16. I'm just kidding. I have no problems with age, but it's just so funny to watch them think it through. But yes, it kind of just started my health and fitness journey. I tried out for cheerleading in middle school and didn't make it, and everything happens for a reason. And that's when I fell in love
Wow.
with dance. And I danced in high school and college. And after I graduated from the University of Alabama, I thought, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with my communications degree, but one thing I know is I didn't want to give up dance. So I had great support in trying out for the Tennessee Titans, and I did that back in '06. So the week of finals, I made through the first 2 rounds of auditions. And if you know anything about the audition process in professional cheerleading, it's usually about a month long. And so I made it on my first year, and it's just been an incredible journey. So I did that for 5 years and loved it. I thought I was kind of through at that point. And after I went to the Pro Bowl in 2011, and we started our family. I had my son, and anybody who's a mom, it's an incredible gift, but it's also incredible responsibility. And I felt like I really needed to know more about nutrition at that point because I was responsible for how this human being turned out. And that's what brought me to go back to nutrition school. And I really didn't think I would turn out to be a health coach. But once you have this knowledge, I feel like it's really hard not to share it. So that kind of started me on my health coach journey. And after my little boy turned 1, I got the itch to come back to cheering again. I always feel like I'm a better mother and wife when I pursue some of my passions. And so that these last 2 years have been incredible back on the team. And so we all have to have full-time jobs to be full-time students. So I'm a full-time holistic health coach. And I also am a Bar 3 instructor because I love to teach. And so that gives me an added workout and a bonus of teaching all morphed into one.
I
Yeah,
that
about me.
Wow, that is fabulous. And I would have thought that being a cheerleader and that responsibility of constantly being in shape and camera ready might have been what propelled you towards nutrition, but it was the birth of your son.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, it's just, like I said, an incredible responsibility. And I thought, I just really need to know more. And
Wow.
so that's what I did.
Did you grow up in a healthy eating family, or what changed about in your nutrition philosophies before you studied nutrition and after you studied nutrition?
Well, I've always lived in the South, so very your traditional Southern food is what I grew up with, and I think all of us of a certain generation had several different things, and but I think the major difference between before and after, and what I particularly have it to compare it to is when I was cheering beforehand. And those first couple of years, I was a lot younger, and I didn't know how my body worked. You're
Right.
fed information, calories in versus calories out. and you only should eat so many calories a day, and you should work out this hard. And so when I first made the team, it was really hard for me to get down to the weight that they wanted me at, and to also maintain that weight. So I saw a huge shift from trying to do things, which a lot of my clients are coming to me now are doing things in that way, and they haven't ever learned how to listen to their body and what foods actually do for your body, because they're meant to nourish. And now being back on the team, and now it's easy to maintain my weight. I'm eating more
Yeah.
now, and it's just amazing the difference, how you can actually enjoy life. You're not depriving yourself, and still get the look that you want.
So tell us a little bit about what your overall nutrition philosophy is.
Clean eating. So if, as long as you can stay away from the processed foods, think of how it came from the earth, and that's kind of what you want to stick with. If you can look at the ingredients label, if it does have an ingredients label, kind of recognize, the foods. It's not looking like it's in a foreign language. That's a way to go.
Right.
And not being afraid of things like fats. I feel like a lot of people, are. So
one of the questions that I get often, and you must too, in that spectrum of, eating foods that you can identify, would be something like pasta. So like if you go to buy a package of pasta and let's say it's organic and non-GMO, and it just is whole wheat pasta, isn't that technically a real food?
I know that's a great question. So I think it's taking all of those things and kind of learning over time, because those are things that you're going to have to learn. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when I say, you're listening to your body, everybody's unique. So some people could tolerate gluten and pasta a lot more than other people can,
right?
Because they have food sensitivities that they're not necessarily aware of. I have some people that end up getting off gluten, and they're amazing. It's amazing how different they feel.
Right.
Not everybody's that way. I'm not for everybody needs to be gluten free, but again, listening to your body. So yeah, some people can tolerate some things, but there's always healthier versions to, the splurges.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think too that eating healthy is really about kind of creating substitutions. Like I think you can satisfy any craving through real food.
Absolutely.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on, because you are obviously super physical. You've got the games, you're working out, you have rehearsals. What about pre-workout versus post-workout? And are there different considerations for athletes, would you say? Or those who are super active?
Well, I definitely have to make sure that I get enough protein in the day. It's hard because I don't get to determine when my workouts are. So all of our practices are at night, because we all have full-time jobs, or we're full-time students. So we get to practice at 7:45 and we don't get done till 10. So it's a lot different than if my workout, was at the beginning of the day, versus at night. So mine's going to look a lot different than other people's. But just to make sure that I eat throughout the day. I think a lot of people have a tendency to skip meals, and sometimes I get so busy. It's like, I'm going from one thing to the next. I'm with my son, then I'm working, then I'm, back with him, then I'm fixing everybody dinner, then it's out the door, time for him to go to bed and me to go practice. So for me, it's just planning ahead and making sure I'm eating enough and it's all good foods, and I have everything kind of in order. So no real script of this is what I eat post-workout, this is what I eat pre-workout, because to me every day is different, because I go and do different things after every bar class or before every practice.
Do you consider practice to be your workout at this stage of the game?
Yes, I definitely have to factor it in.
Yeah.
Because we are dancing the whole time. We start with a traditional dance warm-up, and then we move into our choreography, because we like to make the most of our time there. So I have to factor that in, because it is a cardio session. It can.
I know that sometimes when people do things over and over, right? Like that's such a part of your life that they forget that that's the workout too. Yeah. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. No, you're exactly right. And I think being a fitness instructor too, I mean, that has to factor in to my specific, workout, is because we do a lot of the workout with our clients. So that's different because
Yeah.
I feel like I teach at least 4 classes a week. And so that's 4 bar classes a week, and that's at least 3 cheer practices a week. So
Wow.
that pretty much keeps it. I mean, that's good enough for me in season between bar 3 and practice. If And I'm pretty active with my 3-year-old. So
Yeah, chasing your son around is no joke either.
yes,
And a husband.
yeah, yeah. And I love I love working out with weights in the gym. Like I feel like making workouts fun is like the most exciting thing. And for me in this stage of my life, this is what workouts being fun looks like. Who knows, next year if I'm not cheering, it may look different. So
It's funny, I was talking with a client today and I was kind of laughing a little bit about some of the memes that are out there on Pinterest, or if you're flipping through a fitness magazine or a women's magazine and they have these images of these women training at the gym and lifting weights or working out, and they have these facial expressions of like, they're lifting so heavy and they have this like really intense face. And I was like, this should be fun. Like, I mean, if that's the face you make when you're working out, then maybe it's time for a shift.
yeah,
I don't know.
totally agree.
So prior to going to nutrition school, definitely more of a Southern style diet. Now you're into clean eating. And so, and I am totally with you there. So do you also count your macronutrients? You mentioned trying to hit your protein goals. Do you track it or do you just let it fly?
I let it fly.
Cool.
I'm not a big tracker in that area or in calories for that matter. So I just make sure that I'm eating clean, and for me that works.
So will you tell the viewers what a day in the life of Julia's food looks like? Like when you wake up in the morning, what do you eat? Like tell us what you eat all day.
Okay. So when I wake up in the morning, usually my husband heads downstairs while I get Luke up and ready, and he fixes breakfast, which is
that's
huge
wonderful.
So he'll bring up a cup of bone broth. I usually drink bone broth every morning, which is excellent for anybody who's looking for good health support, like gut health and immune health.
Chicken or beef or both?
It's usually chicken. We make it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's super easy, so it's usually chicken.
Okay.
But sometimes
do you just do like I often do like a rotisserie chicken carcass?
Yes.
Is that what you guys do?
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, and cover it with water, a little acid, like a vinegar or lemon juice and some herbs.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you do to yours?
My trick is that when you're cooking throughout the week, you like chop up an onion. Well, what do you do with the ends of the onion? You usually compost them or throw them away, right? Well, if you take a Ziploc bag and stick it in your freezer, and that can be your extras. So
freezing's a good idea.
Yeah, you just put it in that bag, and then that way when you're done with your rotisserie chicken and you have the bones ready, then you just take your bag out of the freezer, dump it straight in. So you're using all the extras that you wouldn't normally do anything with.
I do that with the ribs of kale, like kale stems and chard stems and that kind of thing. So do you leave it constantly simmering in a crock pot, or do you put it in the fridge and then rewarm it, or how do you do it?
I make a huge batch of it, either on the stove or in a crock pot. Just depends on where we are and how, we're gone. And then you simmer it for 24 hours. And then we will take it out, strain it, and put it in mason jars. So pint mason jars. And so we'll freeze it. We'll have it in the freezer, just already made. So as soon as we run out, we grab the next batch. We just thaw it out in the sink, and it's ready to go.
Do you just warm it on the stove, or do you microwave it?
Warm it on the stove.
Warm it on the stove. Okay. All right. So bone broth, first thing.
Bone broth, first thing. He usually makes eggs, and we'll make Ezekiel bread, so the sprouted toast. And then he'll make a protein shake to go. So we'll eat eggs and our toast and our bone broth, and then I'm usually heading off to bar. I teach bar 3 in the mornings, so I'll take my protein shake with me, drop Luke off, and then I'll have that right before class.
What's in your protein shake?
I like to switch it up. Some days it's just protein powder, collagen, the flax seeds, hemp hearts, and almond milk. And then some days I like get fancy and I'll do my berries and avocados and coconut oil. It just depends on the day.
Cool. What protein powder do you like to use?
I like Dr. Axe's protein powder.
Okay, I've
Dr.
never
Axe's.
tried that.
It's really good. It's from it's just very clean. It's just the protein, and it comes from goats instead of cows. So
Oh, okay.
it's a little bit easier on your digestive system.
Okay, awesome. All right, keep going.
Okay, and then lunch. I'm usually I try to be back home, but a lot of my appointments are at Whole Foods, or we have a local place, Turn Truck. So if it's out and about, I usually make a salad. And I usually schedule all my meetings at places that I know that I can eat good food. So that'll probably be a salad with some lean meats. Or if I'm home, then same thing. I usually make an easy salad, put it together with chicken. And I mean, and leftovers. We're huge on leftovers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not always salads and grilled chicken. It's like whatever we had the night before. I like to cook once and eat twice. So, I'm like, yes. I'm like, we don't have time to cook every meal. I'm like, yes, cook it once, eat it twice.
That's a tweetable, lady.
Yes, that's tweetable. Dinner, every night's different. So my husband is a fantastic cook. So he helps out in the kitchen a lot. I love soups. Soups are super easy to me. They can be in the crock pot if you need them to be. I like fish too because that's easy. So we'll do fish, veggies. Soups are great.
Do you do red meats and steaks or?
We do. We love. We have a great local butcher shop in town. I'm a big component of like knowing where your meats come from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. I love red meats. We actually do a lot of venison. So being from the South, our family hunts a good bit, and so we'll get a lot of the venison. And so we have ground venison or cubed steaks in the freezer all the time. So I'll just thaw that out and make something with that. So whether it be, kind of like a spaghetti or chili or even like eggs mixed with the meat. I'm like that. It's just I'm all for easy.
Heck yeah! And so then, do you eat again after dinner? Do you get the after dinner munchies, or you're at practice?
Yeah, I'm usually at practice at night. So I'll either grab a green juice before practice or a bar in case I'm hungry beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how long the day's been, and then that's a good thing to have before practice.
What kind of bars do you like? I've had the hardest time finding bars that do it for me.
Bars can be tricky. So if it's a good week, I'll make my own. If it's not, then there is Grab the Gold bars, which may be just in the South.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
They're local here in Nashville, and it's oats and peanut butter and chocolate. It's like those no-bake cookies that you used to make as a child, and I'm like, these are fabulous. So a trainer turned me on to those a while ago, and I love them.
What are they called again? I'm gonna write them down.
Yes, Grab the Gold.
Grab the Gold. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I was thinking I may have one right here, but no, I don't. I usually have one in my desk somewhere.
Cool.
Go to. But yeah, so a bar or juice, great for practice. I really like beef jerky.
I do too.
Yummy snack.
So good. So what are your indulgences? Do you believe in indulgences?
Oh yes, balance is key.
Okay.
Wine, I love wine.
Ooh.
Pizza's a good. What goes better, wine and pizza? Like
that is everyone's favorite indulgence. So I think I've done like 6 or 7 of these interviews now, and everyone says pizza, and I am right there with you.
Yeah.
But I like really quality pizza. Like,
oh yes.
Like I want like delivery isn't cutting it.
Oh no.
No, I went like thin and crispy and like super Italian style, and oh, I love it. It's so good.
We have a lot of great local food places here, and so they will make even authentic. We even had one with the egg on top, which is apparently pretty traditional.
It is.
In Italy, I wasn't so much of a fan of that one, but any kind of good veggies or even the pesto. You do the pesto with the artichokes and chicken and garlic.
So good. So good. So you seem to have done an awesome job finding that balance and in food. And, I think there's so much to it. Can you talk a little bit about the mindset, especially for, the average woman, I would say, who's trying to get leaner? Most girls aren't trying to get completely jacked and ripped. Some are. But most are just trying to, just shape up and carve up a little and, have a nice flat tummy. I think struggle with finding that happy medium between complete deprivation and borderline starving themselves and then binging. Do you have any advice for folks who really just say, I need to tighten up and lean up, so I'm just going to simply eat hardly anything?
So I'm a big component of adding things in. So rather than you think about taking them out of your diet, I'm thinking about adding stuff. So start with your water. You need to add lots of good clean water. Maybe you need to add something to the water to make you drink more water. Add in greens. So maybe you're not taking anything out of your diet just yet. You're just adding in more greens. So more salads. You're adding in greens into your smoothie. So just things like that.
Right.
And I feel like the more you add in, it's natural that you peel some other things back. I mean, I feel like that you just get so full and satisfied from some of those things if you know how to make them good. And I feel like a lot of people think that eating is so boring. Like if you're trying to lean out, your typical lean out, you say, oh, just eat clean. And people think that that's like a plain salad and grilled chicken.
Fish and broccoli.
Boring. That is so boring. Fish, yes. I'm like, you can make it so delicious. Like the most amazing salads that are like, oh my gosh, I want to keep eating this. Or maybe it's like sauteed vegetables. You can really make those good. So I feel like finding foods that are healthy, that you can make them taste good, is really the key.
I also feel too like we especially because if you're an active person and you're working out, we've become so carbophobic. We're so afraid to eat carbs. And I had a client of mine who's come a long way, but I think sometimes food tracking is important when you're trying to make changes. When you go from looking good to wanting to look incredible, sometimes you've got to track it just to see what's happening. Like maybe you're under eating or maybe you're overeating something. And she was hardly eating any carbs. And so I had her add in like a potato at night. And that seems so taboo, a potato. And I said, you could actually add a potato and butter. Like, Stop the presses. And her body just loved it. And then it takes away that that terrible sweet tooth you have after you eat a low carb meal. So what you're saying is carbs aren't bad.
Oh no, I know. I don't think that anything is even people say saturated fat, stay away from the saturated fats. Well, coconut oil is saturated fat.
And so are eggs.
Eggs, exactly. So, I mean, and carbs are not bad. It's everything in moderation. I feel like, if you're loading up on carbs, and let's talk about sugar. Sugar's probably, I feel like, a lot of people's downfalls, but I think you hit the nail on the head of when she added in carbs, her sugar and sweet tooth went away a little bit as well.
Right.
I think, I think that balancing out that diet, fat is another one. I think a lot of people are scared of fat. So same thing. I've had a client who was barely eating any fat, and that's why she was holding on to everything. And then once she started adding in good healthy fats, she started to finally lose. So
you must be like changing the lives of cheerleaders in Tennessee. Like, are the girls in the locker room like, what are you eating, having this and that and the other? And are like, I'm assuming that I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of the culture, especially where you have to be in a teeny skimpy outfit, would be to eat a lot less and work out a lot more. Like I could be wrong, but my guess is that a lot of cheerleaders on every level, amateur and professional, are also working out on top of their practices and eating very little. Do you feel like that's true?
Oh yeah, well that was me. That was me back in 2006, like when I first made the team. And I would say for the first 3 years, I still never really got it those first couple years. I mean, some days would be great, and you would be like, "How am I keeping this off?" And then some days I'm like, "I am not eating anything, and I seem to gain weight just looking at food." So I was definitely that person.
Yeah.
But now I feel like that is a big part of my goal is being, that person that people can come to. But we have a few other great girls on the team that are solid in nutrition and or fitness coaches themselves. So I feel like they have a good grasp on it. I love being the natural person too. So I think they not only come to me, it's not just all food. They come to me. I take a holistic approach. So everything feeds into your health. So if you have toxic relationships and a toxic career and your lifestyle doesn't look so great, I'm like, your health is going to be hindered with that. So I like the whole mentoring aspect of it and really all encompassing. And I think a lot of the girls actually come to me I'm obsessed with essential oils. And so like they're natural, like if they want energy or like they have a headache, they're like, Julia, well, you got an oil for me for that. A girl broke her hand last night at practice. I think I told
You
you.
did.
And I always carry oils with me, but I didn't have my oil that I would put on her hand. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
But
Tell us a little bit about oils and how you got interested in essential oils.
Well, I actually was brought to the company by their supplements. I was looking for a supplement to go along with the program I had developed, and I was led to doTERRA from that. And really, I was looking for a whole foods vitamin that I could really count on. And my problem was I would always find several companies that I liked some of their things, but I didn't like all of their things. So it's hard for me to recommend something for a client and say, okay, you can try this, but don't look at any of their other products. Because I'm like, I want,
Yeah.
something that's like all encompassing. I'm like, I know it's hard to find, but that's what I want. So I had a great mentor who said, why don't you look at these? And if you haven't looked into essential oils, you really need to. And I said, okay. And that's what I did. And a lot of my clients are looking for more natural ways to deal with things. So instead of going, to the traditional route of medicine, they kind of want to handle things in a more natural way. So where their body actually recognizes what it is. And I think that the benefits that my clients have seen from the beginning, I was like, wow, this is really amazing. I need to look into this more. So now it's been an incredible journey, and so I actually teach classes on natural medicine now, and really how to incorporate essential oils into your life, of athletes or stay-at-home moms or really anything. So,
Can you maybe give us like an example of how you might use like your top 3 favorite essential oils? I know nothing about essential oils.
okay, yes, I'll be happy. We can geek out on food.
We can geek out on food. We can geek out on nutrition. We can geek out on oils.
Yeah. Well, good day. All right, we can talk all day long. All right, my top 3. Okay, that's kind of like picking a child, but let me. Okay, so frankincense would have to be probably.
Did you say frankincense?
If you have any frankincense.
Okay,
So
like it from the Bible. Frankincense and myrrh.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the Bible.
Okay.
Jesus God brought frankincense. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And there's a reason why it was so valuable in that time is because it is a pretty powerful oil. So if you do one thing tonight, it's go on the internet and say, what are the benefits of frankincense? And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need more of that in my life. So it's great for cellular support, but it's also good for anti-aging.
Ooh, I need some of that.
Yes. So I add it to my face lotion. So I'll use my face lotion at night after, because we have to practice with full makeup on. So that is not great for your skin.
Girl, that is on my list of questions to ask you in terms of being natural and holistic. We'll get there. We'll talk about beauty in a minute.
So you have to wash it all off at the end of the night. So I'll add my facial lotion, or sometimes I just use coconut oil, and I'll add 2 drops of frankincense on it and rub it on my face. Okay, so that's one. Another one's going to be lemon, just simple and easy, great for naturally detoxifying the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just add it to my water. So make sure
lemon oil, as opposed to what? Now, why the oil over just like a squeeze of lemon, or you know how you can zest the peel?
Yeah. So when you zest the peel, what you're getting is the essential oils, because the oils are actually in the peel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's so fragrant when you do that. So the lemon is actually pressed from the peel, and so we're just adding 1 drop of lemon. And this is really concentrated. So like your lemon juice is not going to be as concentrated as lemon oil.
Okay,
so
that makes
1 drop of
sense.
lemon oil is very powerful. And then, so I love to drink that throughout the day because I drink a lot of water. So that's good. And then probably peppermint's my other go-to because I'm so active with Bar3 and with Titans. It's great for mental alertness and also very cooling to the body. So I'll put it on my fingertips and I'll rub them together and I'll take a deep breath. So it kind of wakes me up, and then I'll rub it on the back of my neck. So I get that alertness. It also cools me down, and I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Top 3.
All right. Good job picking 3. So you can really put it anywhere. You can put it on your skin. You can drink it. You can eat it. And then what about, are the essential oils too part of like aromatherapy?
Yes. So first, if you're taking oils internally, you definitely want to know what kind of oils you're taking because there's no standard on the market. So just like you walk down the chip aisle in the grocery store and it says 100% natural, anything can be in that 100% natural. So if you go to the store and it says 100% pure on your oils, it could still contain synthetics and fillers. So you just want to be careful when you're taking internally what oils you have. But yes, you can use them topically. So you have sore muscles, rubbing it on topically, great use. Bottoms of your feet are always great places to put the oils if you're putting it on topically. And then you can also use them aromatically. So that would be aromatherapy. So having a diffuser and diffusing them, it's great for emotional support, but also even diffusing things that help boost your immune system. We go to a holistic pediatrician, and he diffuses on guard in his office, like in his lobby, and all his rooms. So it's great for warding off germs.
Interesting. So interesting. Do you also take supplements? Are there any supplements that you love?
Yes, I take a whole foods vitamin. I also take fish oil. I'm a big supporter of probiotics because your gut needs to be super healthy.
Tell us about your probiotic and how you choose a probiotic. Like for me personally, I'm also a big believer in probiotics, but I find that when I take it, I feel really bloated and icky. And I've tried a variety of kinds. How do you find one that works best for you?
Well, everybody's a little different. So what you're adding is good strands of bacteria.
Right.
When you take antibiotics and things, it completely wipes your whole system. So you're adding this back in. So yes, some people can be sensitive to certain strands. So you want to make sure it has a variety of strands of good bacteria. You want to make sure there's 2 different brands that I like. I like Dr. Axe's brand. It has several strands, and they're all very good strands. And then I like doTERRA's brand because it's time released.
What is it called?
Through the acid. It's time released.
Oh.
So it's double capsule. So it makes it through the acidic part of your stomach, and actually makes it to your gut. So I like that component of it.
And I'm sorry, that was what brand?
doTERRA.
doTERRA.
And then Dr. Axe.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm sorry, and then what are the other ones you like?
Those are the 2 that I switched back and forth between because I like to get. I mean, they slightly have different strands of bacteria in them, so those I like to switch back and forth. There are some other good ones that are out and about. So, but yeah.
So multivitamin, fish oil, probiotic, and is that about it? Or are there others that you like as well?
That's about it. Sometimes if I need more energy, I have some adaptogens and herbs that I'll take from time to time. But that's about it. Digestive enzymes are also really good. I like. And what I didn't mention in probiotics, you can get probiotics from food too. So your sauerkraut, your kimchi, kombucha, those all contain probiotics. So I love educating people on that too.
That's my preferred way because I do get that little bit of that bloat when I have a probiotic. I love Kavita is one of my favorites. It's sweetened with stevia and so has a little bit less sugar too, which I really like. I think is great. And, me personally too, I have gotten into because I'm also so active doing glutamine and branched chain amino acids. I make my own like sports drink with just like a little lime juice and stevia, and then I'll add in my glutamine and BCAAs and Great Lakes gelatin, like a collagen powder. I'm a huge fan of. And it's funny because a few weeks ago, I noticed that I was getting so sore, like cripplingly sore. Like I did a lunge and I'm like, oh God, I'm dying. And I normally lift pretty darn heavy. And I realized I'd run out of all of my supplements. And, sometimes you wonder if it makes a difference or not. But I was horrifyingly sore for 3 weeks, and they all arrived a few days ago. And I'm back on the mend. I'm feeling good again. So I thought that was really interesting how that can, especially if you're such an athletic person and you have so much going on, that can be helpful.
No, I love collagen. I totally agree with you there. And
So,
you can get it naturally in bone broth, but I'll also put it in my smoothies.
So have you influenced any of the football players? I mean, there is nothing more horrifying than an athletic department's locker room, because they're sponsored by all of the companies who have the big, like the blue drinks, the neon colored drinks, and the chips and the bars and blah, 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 and it's overwhelming. And a lot of them get injured and feel like crap. So has your influence gone onto the field as well?
No, we pretty stay separate from the football players. The only time we ever really see them is on the field on game day, which they're playing, and also doing charity appearances. So we'll get to see them then. But usually we're focused on the community and the task at hand at that point. So
Cool.
so no, but all the cheerleaders have definitely switched to coconut water as their choice of refueling after workouts.
I love it. So you are an expert in having to occasionally be little outfit ready, bikini shoot ready, and calendar ready. Let's say someone is going to be on a beach vacation in a week and a half, and they're like, "Oh, I need a quick action plan to feel my best." Do you have any advice on what that kind of quick fix might be?
I do a morning, which I didn't even mention, my little morning drink. Apple cider vinegar. I'm a huge fan of raw apple cider vinegar, how it just naturally flushes out your body. So that is like my go-to. If I have to do a photo shoot or bikini shoot, I'm like, every morning I do not miss my water, my raw apple cider vinegar, and it little goes a long way with my lemon and cinnamon to rev my metabolism. And then diet is really key. Just making sure I'm eating as clean as possible, that I'm eating enough, and then I'm drinking plenty of water. I will rev up on the water. If I'm a week out, I'll rev up on the water.
The water's huge.
Yeah.
And then, like the day before, do you cut on your water?
Yes. I will taper off my water.
Deplete a little.
2 days out. Yeah, I'll taper off some of my water because I drink a lot of water, and you want to make sure you're hydrated, but also otherwise your body's going to hold on to this, right? So I mean, I know you've done fitness competitions.
I've done one.
I know.
I've done one. That was stressful. That was stressful. I do say I'll never do that ever again. A, yeah. But B, I do think that when I turn 40, I'll do a figure show. I felt like I should have been in the figure category anyway. That's just something I connect with a little bit more. But once I turn 40, then I'll do it. I think that's on my bucket list. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So good tips on getting calendar ready. And then what about body image? Like, that's got to be so hard being around, this is like mainstream media, right? And you're in a sea of perfection and non-holistic things everywhere. Surgery and tanning and, girls 10 years younger. And how do you maintain a healthy body image? I mean, obviously you're a gorgeous girl, but even the most gorgeous of people still feel sometimes a little bit of insecurity, especially when you're surrounded by such a high bar.
Right. And yeah, I agree. And critiqued by everybody. Yes, I mean, you definitely feel that. I don't think that there's any way to get around some of that, but I always remember, it's easy to get in the mindset of, I am creating, like, actually I'm trying to fit into somebody else's image. I think that's a big difference is if I'm thinking I have to be this perfect cheerleader that looks like this, that weighs this much, instead of thinking of it that way, I think of it as I want to become the best version of myself. So it's not necessarily an image of what I think that the perfect cheerleader should be. It's the image of what I think my best version of myself would be.
Cool.
So listening to my body, because I know where I can get to. I know what I've done before. I mean, even coming back from being on the team and then having a baby and then coming back to auditions,
How
like I knew that.
what was the length of time in between having your son and then did you take a year off or
Yeah. Well, I took 3 years off because I thought I was finished and actually coached girls how to make it. That's where I fell in love with coaching. So I retired after going to the Pro Bowl and I started coaching women how to make the team because it really gave so much to me that I wanted to give back and I wanted other people to experience that. So I started coaching girls and I did that for 2 years. And then I had my son and I thought, I want to go back. So he was a little over, he was probably about, was he almost a year and a half, not quite, a year and a half old when I made the team back.
That's
So,
amazing. I mean, congratulations to take 3 years off and have a baby and get right back on. I think is something to be really proud of, especially since it sounds you were never a cheerleader before the NFL, right?
oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I was never a cheerleader ever before I tried out for the NFL.
That is the most inspiring thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It really is. Like honestly, Julia, that takes balls. Like I know you were always a dancer, but to say like, you know what, NFL, here I come. That's amazing.
Well, the majority of us do have a dancer background. So I'm like, it was good that I had that dancer. I could pick up the choreography. But the thing was, is I came from Alabama. That's where I was originally, that's where I grew up. And so we don't have a professional team in Alabama. So coming to Nashville when I was trying out, it's almost like, oh, I shouldn't tell anybody because I don't know, if I'm going to make it or not. But when I tried out, I honestly joke that my dad is like my biggest fan. Like he was always the guy like up against the fence at softball, like yelling, "Go Julia, run harder!" And so I had 30 people there. Our auditions are pretty big. But I had 30 people come to support me from Alabama during our final auditions. They're open and live to the public, so anybody and everybody can come. And I joke that the judges were afraid to put me on the team because my dad really cheered so bad.
Alabama daddy, look out.
I'm like, it was definitely a scary and different thing. I was never the girl with tons of confidence growing up, and I feel like that's what I learned the most over my time with the Titans is actually finding out who I am, being okay that that's different than maybe some other people's idea of what may be best and being confident in who you are. So
Good for you. I just think that's so inspiring and awesome. Like really, really cool. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but talk to me about beauty. So it is really hard when you are a more naturally minded person, a more holistically minded person, and yet you also kind of like beauty, right? And you're in the beauty industry basically. And so and it's fun. Like I like to look like a girl and feminine, and I think you do too. And then but we also kind of know deep down that in our cosmetics are some scary things. So have you shifted to all natural cosmetics, or what are you doing there?
yeah, so you're right. This is a big topic, and I feel like a lot of people, especially that are more naturally minded, think, "Oh my gosh, I can't use hairspray. I can't use these products
I
anymore."
have to
You
wash
know,
my face and wear Birkenstocks for the rest of my life.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
have to now not even look feminine.
exactly, exactly. And that's the big thing is like merging the gap like that is my whole passion. You can look great and you can be healthy and you can have them both, but they aren't always the same thing. So learning how to make them collide. So yes, so we actually are very lucky. We have a fabulous hair salon that sponsors us. And so they do our hair, but the owner of the salon is very holistically minded.
Wow.
He's a great friend of mine, and kind of like a mentor to me. And he is so when he actually had a cancer scare, and now is in complete remission. But one of the things that going back, he's like, I want to look at the products that I'm using. So he helps sponsor, get together a sponsor for our hair products, and I am in love with it. It's called REF, and it's a Swedish hairline.
Cool.
Because anywhere in Europe and overseas, they have, I mean, their rules are a lot stricter
They are.
on their products. So I love that. I love knowing that I'm using things that are less toxic. Again, I can add my oils into, like, really making that my own beauty regimen, and things like that. So
I find, I've tried to do some more natural cosmetics and find that as much as I really want it to work, I just can't get it to work. Like for me, it's foundation. I like a little bit of foundation. And it's funny, whenever I use a more natural line, it looks so fake and heavy. Even if I've only used a dot of it, it looks so fake and heavy. So that is the one thing I am still searching for. And I'm not even going to lie, I'm still rocking the L'Oreal. I cannot let it go. Are there any beauty products that you have not been able to make the leap away from?
that I haven't found. Yes. Well, MAC is our sponsor for game day makeup, and I have to say, I'm in like the way it looks on camera too. Like when we have pictures, I'm like, I love my MAC.
Yeah, and their pigmentation is awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome. Incredible. Yeah,
okay.
I feel like maybe this is to where like balance comes in, where like, okay, if I'm having the salmon and the wild blueberries and the kale and the quinoa, maybe my L'Oreal foundation, it might be offset by that. Sorry, L'Oreal.
Think about your other beauty care products. I'm like, that's not even your lotions. Like anything you put on your skin can be absorbed into your bloodstream in 30 seconds. So, I mean, think about your lotions are a huge component. Any other skincare products that you use, your deodorant. Oh, your deodorant.
I know. I used Tom's like natural roll on. It's marvelous.
Yes. It is fantastic.
And also, I do have to say, too, that if you, like, this might be TMI for everyone, and I'm sorry. I just feel like this is me and Julia doing our thing. But, like, I don't need deodorant. Like, I don't smell. Do you?
Okay, so you know that is usually a gut issue. So when people say, yes, no, I don't. And some days I'm like, I mean, it's natural for you to sweat. Yes.
Yeah.
This is your lymphatic system.
I like to sweat.
Yes. So, but if it smells, it usually means that there's something going on inside. Like usually your gut might be a little offset or some kind of inflammation is going on. So yes, I am totally fine with my natural deodorant, and some days I forget, and yeah.
And it's no problem.
Yes.
Now I really just put it on out of habit. Now it's kind of like brushing your teeth.
Yes.
Where you have you started making your own toothpaste? Have you gone this far?
No, I haven't. I love DIY products. Like I would love to make. I'm a very crafty person. I just don't have enough time.
I know.
Like, with all these things going on, I'm like 2 businesses and the Titans, and I'm like, my number one priority is my little boy and my hubby, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time to do.
You do your best. Yes. Just curious.
Make sure I use a fluoride-free, non-toxic toothpaste, and I use my oils, and I feel like that's just as good. So
good for you. What about other lifestyle things? Like, how do you manage stress? It sounds like you have so much on your plate. How do you find time for you and make sure that running around from practices to teaching to cooking to keeping your house clean and all those things don't creep up on you?
Well, I have very good support. So my husband is very supportive of all the things I'm doing. So that is a huge thing. I love baths. And my husband will actually draw me a bath probably 3 nights out of the week. So maybe I'll come home from practice, and if I know that the bathroom door is shut, like he'll be asleep, and if it's shut, that's just a sign that he still has the light on for me. I have a bath and ready to go. I mean,
oh, what a sweetheart!
He is a sweetheart. So baths are like my relaxation point. So Epsom salt baths, like they're incredibly detoxifying. I get good magnesium. But yes, like that is a wonderful thing.
So
But
is your husband as into this as you are?
oh yeah, he is even more so. So he will do
What?
things. Oh yes, he will do things, and I will say, I will never do that. And
Like
then I
what?
myself,
I need an
like
example.
well, the first example was the apple cider vinegar in my water in the mornings. I was like, that is the most disgusting thing. I cannot drink that. And here I am mixing my apple cider vinegar with my lemon water in the mornings. So yes, we have kombucha. He makes things all the time. So we have kombucha behind our picture frames,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
super easy to make. And then right now he has hard apple cider brewing. If this wasn't stationary, I would take you over there to show you.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
so I've never been I'm not a beer person. I much love wine over beer, but I'm gonna have
Same.
to try the hard apple cider. So yeah, so he is more so on the
So did
bandwagon.
he got into it through you, do you think, or
No,
he just has always been interested?
he's always been interested, and then we'll both find products like projects that we like, and eventually, so like in business, like you always have to find like your why. Like when you're working for yourself, I'm sure you have the same thing.
Totally.
Like you have your why of like why you help people and why you do what you do, but you also have your why of like why am I doing this? And so my big why is he's always given me the opportunity to pursue all my passions. He's the one that pushed me to try out for Titans. Like when I said I'm tired of the corporate world. I want to walk away. I want to do my own thing. He was like, go for it. Always
Awesome.
been the number one supporter. But now it's getting to a point where I'm like, he needs to be able to pursue some of his passions.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an engineer right now, and he has a great job and works for a great company. But there's several other things that really he has a heart for. So farming is one of them. I'm sure we will have our own chickens and our own eggs one day soon. So like that's a big part of my why when I do my business is like getting to a point where he can do more of his passions. So
That is so awesome, Julia. Awesome. So, talk to us a little bit about what that's like working with you. You know, if anyone was interested in like reaching out to you for help or support or influence or coaching, what is it like to work with you?
yes. Well, I mean, I do several different things. So I work with people one on one, and I also run people through group detoxes. That's kind of the two like foundations of health coaching. And then I provide education for people with the oils. So I do free consultations with that and kind of set them up on a system. We actually just recorded a 21-day course for anybody who gets the oils. I feel like a big gap is like incorporating it into their lifestyle. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, so I feel like when I look at my clients, they come from all over. Like some of them are TV producers, some of them are stay-at-home moms. They're all over the board, corporate women too, but they all have a few things in common. They're all driven. They all have a big passion and heart. And I feel like for me, I'm never one. I was talking about this with a client today. She's like, I love going to Barry's boot camp because he yells at me and says, "You can do harder," and I'm like, that is like my deepest fear. I'm like, I do not want somebody looking at me and saying, "You can go harder. Why aren't you working hard enough?" I'm like, that is the worst to me. Like, I want somebody who's encouraging, who's not afraid to call me out. I mean, I want accountability, but I also want somebody to say, you're doing a freaking good job, and I could tell that you really worked hard. And I feel like I'm the coach that I would want. Kind of like your personal cheerleader, but somebody who's going to hold you accountable, and also somebody that's going to help be your advocate,
Yeah.
help find you the answers that you're looking for, and push you in a direction that you may not have thought to even go in yet.
I love that. That's awesome. Another quick side question that I just remembered I wanted to ask you is about like, what are your thoughts on like juicing and cleansing? You know, like like some people will do like 7-day juice cleanses or juice fasts or that kind of stuff. Is that a yay or nay for you?
I mean, I've done myself like the 3 to 4 day juice cleanses. We have a
Mm-hmm.
great place in town. I like cold pressed juices, and I'll make my juices at home. As far as the everyday lifestyle, I love incorporating juices into my everyday. I mean, I hate to say the word diet because it's for me, diet means lifestyle, just
Right.
what I'm eating. So I love juices. People have to be careful about the sugar content in juices. I think a lot of times when you pick them up at the store, they have a lot of the sweet stuff in them and
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of like the greens and the good stuff.
And
So
the veggies.
yeah, so
Yeah.
making sure that it's actually something of quality, and two, that it isn't overloaded with sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel ya. Okay, this has been awesome. And now I just have some like fun personal questions for you.
Okay.
So we'll just rapid fire, no thinking about it. But one, do you guys have any pets?
Yes, we have two pets, and we fostered dogs actually for a whole year when we were first married. So
Oh
we
my gosh. So what are your pets now?
we have a little Yorkie mix. His name is Cooper, and
Cute.
we have a 120-pound lab, and his name is Murphy.
Murphy. So and how old are they?
Oh, Murphy is pushing 14, so he is on the older side. And Cooper, actually, my husband Tandy gave to me when I moved to Nashville. So he is 10.
Oh, I love it. Okay. What is your idea of a dream vacation? You can go anywhere tomorrow. Anywhere tomorrow, all expenses paid.
This is a secret fantasy I've always had. I've always wanted to backpack Europe.
Oh.
Like, I love the beach and that's great, but I'm like, I would love to just have a whole trip, 2 weeks, and just jump from city to city and see all the amazing sights. Like, that would be so fun.
You should take like 6 weeks.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
It'll
That's
happen
awesome.
one day.
Yeah, it will happen. And you know, I've done it, and it's actually, and I've actually done it a lot, and it's a lot more doable than people ever even think. And in fact, I have friends who just took 7 months backpacking the world with their 5-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And they were staying like in Airbnbs and hostels and that kind of thing. Yeah, they have an amazing story. I'll share their information with you later.
Please, I would love that. I'm so inspired by those things. Stories of people doing that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you have any fears or phobias?
Fears or phobias? I do not like spiders. For several years, I would always lift up my sheets and like check my bed for spiders
Oh
before
my
I would go to sleep.
gosh.
I do not like spiders.
I don't like
Yes.
spiders either.
Yes. But
And what did you want to be when you grew up?
what did I want to be? Well, both of my parents were in the medical field, so for the longest time, I wanted to be a physical therapist, which, yeah, but yeah, that I never went down that route when I got to college.
Oh, it
It
happens.
was never even a passion.
So, as a little girl, you're like, I want to be, when I grow up, a physical therapist.
Yes, I don't know why. That was just what I wanted to be.
I love it. I understand. And so I understand, Julia, that you have like a special opportunity for our viewers. Is that correct?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, so my website is just my name, julianicholson.com. And you can just log on straight from there and see my Flatten Your Belly Overnight e-guide. But something I created special for you guys is my 14-day cleanse, and it's a detox, whole foods, no pills, no anything like that. I'm just giving you good foods to eat, and it's working on the elimination diet to see if you have any food sensitivities. So I gave you a special price, and you can find that at julianicholson.com/Andrea.
Perfect. Well, Julia, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure. I absolutely loved it. And I look forward to chatting with you next time.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you, Andrea. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.